Hi, this is Megan Jacks, Creative Memories Independent Advisor, and I'm here with sketch number 2 from the March 2022 Creative Memories Virtual Crop. If you'd like to get a copy of this sketch, you can see the links down below in the description. There is the original copy can be found on the Creative Memories blog. I do have a version of it shared on my Facebook page that includes the measurements. So here we have a 2-page sketch. It shows 4 photos, 2 photos on each page. I'm going to give you a couple of tips on how to maybe extend that into using more photos. And there you can see the ribbon details here on both sides of the layout, and they have some horizontal border details as well as this, a very long horizontal border detail that goes all the way across both pages. So my photos that I'm going to be working with, I am going to be using the papers from the secret box that came out in the winter of 2022. So here, just recently it came out. And I have some pictures of my daughter when she did cheerleading for a very brief period of time. And so it's going to work well with the kind of glittery, glamoury papers that came with that secret box. I will also be using, or I already did use, the 3-in-1 ribbon tag punch to make these ribbon details. I strayed a little bit from this sketch. As I'm putting it together, I'll explain it to the reasons why I strayed a little bit from how the sketch, but it's definitely one of those things that kind of illustrates that sometimes when you get going on a sketch, your photos will take you in a direction that they need to go to be able to create a layout that you're satisfied with. And that's kind of what happened here. I got going. I thought I was going to stay pretty true to the sketch, but once I really got, putting things together, I realized that there were some elements that I needed to leave out and some elements that I needed to add. So, as I mentioned before, I'm working with the papers that came with the 2022 secret box number 1. And I have already done some punched. I did some 2-inch strips of the various paper. I did the ribbon ends, and I did follow the sketch pretty closely when cutting these lengths. So they range between 9 to 9.5 inches tall. They are all 2 inches wide. So I have some ribbons I'm going to put on my my right page. And I have some ribbons that I'm going to be putting on my left page. So that's a little bit of a deviation. If you're over here thinking, wait a minute, there's only one ribbon on the right page, that was one of my variations that I'm making here. I am starting off, my background is going to be this nice, kind of more of a tonal pattern, just something low key. It is a lighter color, which worked well because I've got a lot of darker, more saturated colors going here. And so when I put this together, it's going to be, I'll start off with, I'm going to put 3 ribbons over on the right page. And I'm going to go ahead and I am doing 5 ribbons on the left. And they just get varied in there. If you want to use that sketch to help you place, so you don't have to worry about deciding, oh, does this one need to go up? Does this need one to go down? So you can see how I stayed there. Now, the reason I decided to not follow the sketch exactly with these details, with these horizontal borders, I am going to be using this center border here, this long border that goes across both pages, but these horizontal elements, my photos were already pretty busy. I have some pictures that are just the smiling face, which is quite nice. But then I had some competition photos, which get to be a little more, a lot more going on in those. So the girls are real small. Even here, there's just a lot of stuff going on. There's already some horizontal details in the photos. And it was just going to start to be a little too much. And I was struggling to figure out how to make the different colors and the patterns work. And when I was kind of laying it out, I'm going to admit to you guys, I got one of those scrap and easel things, and it has been phenomenal. Helped me get things kind of dry fitted together. Those magnets hold things in place. And as I was putting, things up there, tossing the magnets on to hold them in place, I kind of liked just having more of this lighter background show through. So you can start to see here, this is how the overall placement of the photos is going to go. At first, I was just going to have the one photo here. And I was going to use this mat, it actually comes, this mat had a centerpiece in here. If you can imagine, if you have this mat set, you're going to see it looks more like that. It was too big. I really tried hard to get it to fit on this right page. This mat was overall just too big. So what I did is I cut it from scallop corner to scallop corner on both sides of that scallop notch that's in the mat. And I had 2 pieces. And I thought, well, maybe I could still get it to go. I could still get it to work. These papers are just perfect for my daughter's cheerleading photos. And I don't have a lot of cheerleading photos. She didn't do cheerleading for too long. So we really only have like one. This is really our good set of photos. But I wasn't going to be able to get this other one on here. You can start to see it just gets to be too big. It starts to cover this up. I start losing ribbon detail. So what I thought was like, what if I bring it up higher? And I bring it up here. And I said, oh, well, that's perfect. And then I can just put another photo up there. So I added a square photo here at the top. So that's how that portion of it worked out. So I was able to get another photo in here. Remember, the original sketch only has one horizontal, one vertical sketch. So I was able to get a second photo up there. You can see on this side here, I had 2 kind of nice photos of her. She's making kind of a silly face here. So I printed these as 3x4s. So there's 2 3x4s on that 4x6, and then I cut them apart and I did the mat just a little bit wider so I could have a separation between the 2. So that's something to think about when you've got these horizontal or vertical photo and you want to split it in 2. You can obviously get more photos on the page. The other is this side over here on the left page is still a 4x6. I could peekaboo pocket this. This photo is not a 4x4. If I trimmed it down to a 4x4, I could have peekaboo pocketed that one with some of my leftover smaller peekaboo pockets. So there we've got kind of the layout of the photos. I do need to back out here just a little bit, remove this one for a second because I need to talk about the horizontal border that goes across both pages. So you can tell here that the color that they, for their uniforms, this group that she was with, they were very purple. So I went ahead and used the purple glitter paper. It's not actually glitter, it just looks like glitter. And then some of the Wisteria shimmer. I punched it with the starry border. And I used this same blue and green and dark kind of polka dot paper. And that's what I put behind this. I needed those stars to stand out a little bit. And so I used that, a couple strips of that paper to go in. So this is going to come on as such. And I am just going to do a dry fit for you guys to see on the video. Once the video is over, I'll take the time to glue it all down. It's going to be a little bit intensive to make sure I get everything lined up just the way I want it. And that will sit on top. And I'll do the same thing. So I did the exact same border on the other side. And so that will come in here. And then I can go ahead and put that mat and that photo back into place here. So there we go. So now you can see overall, that's kind of how it's going to look. I have a few additional details. There are some embellishments that they gave us, those layered embellishments that are super cute. I have I have cut out a bunch of tiny letters that I'm going to be putting competition day as a little title in there. I have some areas that I could journal if I wanted to, and just some black ink in here if I wanted to put any additional details. I do have other layered embellishment pieces that once I get things going, that maybe I will include. I haven't decided on some of those, how I'm going to use those, but overall you can kind of see what I went with. You can see there is some variation, but like I said, it was one of those things that just, when you get going with a sketch, sometimes it goes in its own direction, and that's the direction that it needs to go for your photos. So never hesitate to add to a sketch, take away from a sketch. Really, they're meant to inspire. And, whatever you end up is still going to look fantastic, and it's another page done. So thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the videos, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.